Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Today I'm reading part 3 of Ananda, Guardian of the Dhamma. The author is Helmuth Hecker. The Buddha's Attendant. One of the virtues of Ananda that established his fame was his conduct as the Buddha's Apatthaka, his personal attendant. The Buddha said of him that he was the best of all attendants, the foremost of all those monks who had ever filled his post. The term attendant is actually not comprehensive enough to do full justice to the Venerable Ananda's position. Such designations of secretary or adjutant fail to express the most intimate aspects of his attendance, extending to many little items of personal assistance given to the master. While the term servant omits the organizational and directing aspects, implies to great degree of subordination, and again leaves out the aspect of intimacy. In 3 of his verses in the Theragatha, Ananda sums up the way he served for the Buddha through the last third of his life. For 25 years I served the Blessed One. I served him well with loving deeds, like a shadow that does not depart. For 25 years I served the Blessed One. I served him well with loving speech, like a shadow that does not depart. For 25 years I served the Blessed One. I served him well with loving thoughts, like a shadow that does not depart. If we look in the world's literature for examples of a great man's confidant who accompanied him constantly, nowhere would we find one comparable to Ananda. His loving attention to the master over such a long period consisted of the following services. Ananda brought the Buddha water for washing his face and toothwood for cleaning his teeth. He arranged his seat, washed his feet, massaged his back, fanned him, swept his cell, and mended his robes. He slept nearby at night to always be on hand. He accompanied him on his rounds through the monastery, and after a meeting he checked to see whether any monk had left anything behind. He carried the Buddha's messages and called the monks together, even sometimes at midnight. When the Buddha was sick, he obtained medicine for him. Once, when the monks neglected a very sick fellow monk, the Buddha and Ananda washed him and together carried him to a resting place. In this way, Ananda performed the many daily tasks and cared for the physical well-being of his enlightened cousin, like a good mother or a caring wife. But above all, he also had the duties of a good secretary, facilitating the smooth communication between the thousands of monks and the master. Together with Sariputta and Moggallana, he tried to sort out and attend to the manifold problems of human relationships turning up in a community. In the case of the dispute of the monks of Kasambi, and in the case of the schism in the Sangha through Devadatta, Ananda played the important role of clarifying doubts and keeping order. Often he was the go-between the monks, arranging for them an audience with the master, or he brought the Buddha's words to members of other sects. He refused no one and felt himself to be a bridge rather than a barrier. On several occasions, the monks made a great deal of noise, so that the Buddha asked Ananda about the reason for this. Ananda was always able to explain it fully, and the Buddha then took the appropriate action. The last of these 3 occasions is significant. On behalf of the Buddha, Ananda called the large group of noisy monks together, reproached them for their behavior, and sent them away. Thereupon the group went into solitude and worked so diligently on the purification of their hearts that by the end of the rain's retreat, all of them had attained to the 3 true knowledges. The master then called them together once more. When they came into the presence of the awakened one, he dwelt in imperturbable meditation. The monks realized the depth of their master's meditation, sat down, and entered into the same absorption. After they had thus passed the first 4 hours of the night, truly the kind of greeting fit for holy ones, Ananda got up and requested the Buddha to greet the monks who had arrived. Because all of them were in imperturbable meditation, no one could hear him. After a further 4 hours, Ananda repeated his request. Again, total silence answered him. And a 3rd time at dawn, Ananda got up, prostrated before the Buddha, put his hands together, and requested a greeting for the monks. Thereupon the Buddha came out of his meditation and answered Ananda, "If, Ananda, you are able to understand our minds, then you would have known that all of us had entered into imperturbable absorption, where words cannot penetrate." This account serves to show the unerring patience Ananda possessed, as well as his limitations. Such an occurrence may have contributed to Ananda's determination to practice meditation again and again, despite his many duties. The traditional texts speak of 2 occasions when he asked the Buddha for a meditation subject that he could practice in solitude. The master told him on one occasion to concentrate on the 5 aggregates, on the other to contemplate the 6 sense spheres. Among the many things which Ananda requested from the Buddha for others, the following may be mentioned. When the monks Girimananda and Phaguna were sick, Ananda asked the exalted one to visit them and strengthen them with talk on the Dhamma. It was also Ananda who had asked the Buddha on Anathapandika suggestion to have a shrine erected in the Jetavana monastery. In these and many other ways, Ananda showed himself to be a solicitous monk who combined maternal and paternal qualities. His ability for organization, negotiation, and arrangements had already been manifested earlier, when in a past life he fulfilled a similar function for the kings of the Devas, Saka. In the few instances when Ananda's past life in the Deva and Brahma worlds are mentioned, it always related to those in which he held the position of a main helper and adjutant of Saka, particularly as the heavenly charioteer Matali, or as a deva, such as the heavenly architect Visakama, or the rain god Pajuna, or the five-crested celestial musician Pankasika. Especially worth mentioning Ananda's willingness to sacrifice himself. When Devadatta let loose a wild elephant to kill the Buddha, Ananda threw himself in front of the Buddha, ready to die himself rather than let the Blessed One be killed or injured. 3 times the Buddha asked him to step back, but he did not comply. Only when the master moved him gently from the spot through supernatural powers could he be dissuaded from his intention to sacrifice himself. This action of Ananda spread his fame even further. The Buddha told the other monks that already in 4 former lives Ananda had shown himself equally willing to sacrifice himself. Even in the distant past, as an animal, as a swan or a gazelle, he had stayed with the Bodhisattva when he had been caught in a trap. Another case, the Bodhisattva first sacrificed himself for his monkey mother, then Ananda. And in 3 other recorded cases, Ananda in his former rebirths saved the life of the Buddha through his care and skill. These stories amplify the virtues of Ananda and his age-old association with the Buddha. Here's the quote of the day. There are 2 mistakes one can make along the road to truth. Not going all the way and not starting. Number 2. However many holy words you speak, what good will they do if you do not act upon them? May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha.